Hey, what's up everybody? It's Muse. So today I'm going to be taking a look at two games, and I'm going to be discussing them from the vantage point of a United States Air Force veteran, strategy, tactics, what I'm trying to do. So let's first start off by saying I prefer the American carriers. I prefer air superiority, and that means having good AA on my ship, that means having good fighters, and then the bombers for me handle the DD problem. I think the American IJN and British BBs are some of the best in the game at handling DDs. But again, I like having that AA and the air superiority. So the first thing we're doing here is we're just going to go scout over the mid. I'm going to use these mountains to gain some altitude. Reason for that is I can see more.
Enemy force detected.
Doesn't necessarily change the detection range, but it prevents the mountains from blocking my view of something that may be there. So it's always good to go over the high points, so you're seeing everything, and we pick up a DD here. Nah, this DD was featured in the beginning of the video, just a fun little clip. But this DD is making a big mistake. It's a Kahira, it doesn't have good AA. The reason I came down the channel just now is because he was sitting near his AA back there, his BBs and his cruisers. So he's going to continue. Right now, I don't know what he's doing. As I go back over here, I'm going to see he's continuing down the channel, and he's separating himself from that AA, from anybody that can offer supporting shots. So, rule number one, well, one of the many rules, is you never interrupt your opponent when they're making a mistake. So I'm not going to interrupt him. I'm not going to try to bomb him. I don't want him smoking up in the middle of that channel. I want him to come down and be where my guys can hit him. I've got spots on him for days. He's not going to shoot my whole squadron down. You know, he doesn't have the AA for that. So this was just not a good play on his part. Coming down here lone wolf like that against the carrier was just not a good play in a Kahira. And he pays the price for it. So that's one DD off the board, and that's what we're going to focus on in this battle, is the DD hunting. That's mainly what I had to do in this battle, and unfortunately that means low score, almost no XP, but when you're a CV player and there's a game with 3, 4, 5 DDs in it, you have to bite the bullet. You have to bite the bullet, and it's going to suck. You're not going to get damage, you're not going to get XP, but you have to bite that bullet. If you want your team to have a win, if you want them to have the best chances, and what you're going to see in this battle is the team sees what I'm doing. It sees I'm hunting these DDs down. That gives it a lot of confidence, and you're going to see this team just go off. And by the time we get the last DD, they're going to have the rest of the red team wiped out, because the mid lane's open right now. Now we're over here on the left. Just found the other DD. Look at him firing his AA. Olin, so we're going to keep him spotted up. We're going to drop some bombs here on him. that was a horrible drop. Is what it is. And now I know where he is, so we're gonna come back with a fresh squadron, because he does have decent AA. But my guys now also know where he is too. They're already, you can see they're positioning to get shots on him. They can see him coming back. We've got the enemy carrier attacking one of our DDs over here, so we're gonna try to get some fighters down for these guys. And again, that's the air superiority game. The American fighters are really, really, really good. And if you put them in the right time, in the right place, they're gonna cause some problems for the enemy CB player. So there we go, we drop our fighters. Now we're gonna go back out here and get this guy spotted back up. That is part of your job as well, not just finding DDs, but protecting your DDs from those fighters. A lot of DDs don't have good AA. They have to operate a little bit independently from the AA bubble sometimes, so they need your fighters more than anybody else. So here we go, we got him spotted up. Team's hitting him. We're not even gonna get a chance here. Team's had enough of this dude. Drop forced him to turn. This is gonna make him slow down. That's gonna give our team more time with him in range. Get him off the board. Sends torps out, but since I'm over the top, my team can see him coming long before they ever get there. And before we can even get our torp drop off, they go ahead and take him out. So now we have the mid clear and we have the left side clear. Leaves one DD left over on that right side. Guess who we're going after next? There's a bunch of ships back behind, you know, their cap. There's BBs over there, there's cruisers. There's all kinds of stuff I could be farming for damage right now, but that's not what my team needs out of me. My team needs me to go find that other DD. That's what they need. So again, I have to bite the bullet here. And the next game we feature will be a more balanced team, and that's where you can see me going and doing damage farming things. This is a very one-sided game, and the reason this game is so one-sided, I'm blinding this enemy team. Literally blinding them. We blinded them in the mid, we blinded them on the left, we're coming to blind them on the right. And the only thing they're gonna have left to spot after that is that carrier. And that's, you know, oddly enough in CBs, my win rate is pretty much over 90%. I don't lose a lot of CB games, and this is why I focus DDs priority above everything else. Getting damage, getting XP, I don't care. DDs are coming off the board. That's what you have to do as a CB player. That's the mindset you have to have. And unfortunately, you know, you see these people that have these giant damage games, but it's on a loss. Well, there's a reason my win rate in carriers is over 90%, because what I'm doing is effective for the team, whether it's effective for me on the scoreboard or not. It's effective for the team. You know, at the end of the matches, I don't go in and try... Sometimes I do, depending on the situation, I'll go in and try to bomb a carrier or something like that, but most of the times I will just sit outside the carrier's AA and just keep them spotted until my team shows up. And then once my team is there and they have spots on it, you know, then I can go in and start doing damage. But by that time, they're already tearing it up, and I'm not going to get a whole lot of damage out of it. But that's effective. So last AD, he wants to smoke up here. Doesn't matter. I took a good kind of idea of what his position was. So we're going to get a tag on him. He thinks he's in the smoke, but he got tagged up. And now we're just gonna wait. I could leave this guy, and I could go farm some damage on the ships that are left, mostly by their cap. But then I run the chance of losing this guy, and him running wild and torping half my team, so we don't want that. One, I want to be able to see if torps are coming out of that smoke, to help my guys avoid those torps. And then two, we don't want to give him the chance to get away from this area and go undetected and start doing what he does. So we know he's here, we want to keep him here, we want to keep him pinned in the smoke until his smoke is gone. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to just sit here and hold an orbit over him and wait for his smoke to run out. He's the only DD they have on the board. He's the one that could change the game for them. He could literally, you know, go out and sink 4 ships in a heartbeat. So we're not going to let this guy go running wild. And we're going to sit right here and just wait him out. And this is, again, this is not doing good for me on the scoreboard, my XP, but this is effective gameplay in a CV. This is how you CV right here. You're providing air cover, you're providing spotting. Damage is like the last of your priorities. The very last. You know, sometimes there's some games where your team's not doing enough damage, and then that does become a priority at some point. At some point you have to, like, if your team's not putting out the damage, you have to start doing damage and damn everything else, and that's just a judgment call. But for the most part, you know, air superiority and hunting DDs and protecting your DDs is your main priorities in a CV. CV, when it's used properly, is such a powerful class, and it enables, you're a support ship. What you enable your team to do, I can't tell you on you know, again, 90% win rate in CVs. I don't lose very many CV games. I can't tell you how many times people on my team have had huge games while I'm at the bottom of the team. But I'm the reason they had a huge game. I was the one holding spots for them. I was the one getting DDs off the board so they're not dealing with that threat.
Battle ends in 5 minutes.
And I'm enabling them to have a big game. I'm enabling them to go out and get a Kraken or, you know, High Cals and Confederates, and that's an important role. And whether you get rewards for it or not, if you're gonna take a CV, that's what you gotta do. You know, again, there's a reason I don't lose in CVs very often. Does it happen? Yes, it happens. I mean, it's, you know, nobody's gonna be perfect, but it's just not a thing that happens very often. Usually when I'm in a CV, as long as I get a team that's, you know, halfway competent, they're gonna realize what I'm doing, what I'm enabling them to do, and they're gonna capitalize. And this team definitely capitalized. Look at the ship advantage right now. Like, when I took those DDs out, that enabled these guys to move and position themselves without having to think, oh, where's his DD? What angles is he gonna tort me from? They don't have to worry about that. They can fight the cruisers, they can fight the battleships. Here they are killing the last ship, the carrier. I didn't even have to go spot it for them. They pushed right through. And that's the power of that. And so yeah, DD hunting is super important. So we're gonna move on to the next game. And the next game is going to be a little more of a balanced team, and we're able to go get some damage. So we'll talk about that. Let's go. Alright, so game 2.
Good luck, everyone.
Again, this game is going to be more balanced teams. The 2 DDs are going to get taken out very early, and that frees me up to, 1, protect my guys, which you're going to see me doing a lot of, and then 2, going out and doing damage and hurting people. So this is going to be a very different game from that first one. We're actually going to get XP, we're going to get some damage, we're going to do things now. And when you're playing CVs, there's going to be a lot of variable types of games depending on, you know, the composition of teams. And understanding what your priorities are makes all the difference in the world. When you understand what to prioritize, when you can look at a team roster and say, oh, there's so many DDs, so many cruisers, so many battleships, and you understand what your priorities are, and also situational awareness as the battle's unfolding. Different needs are going to present themselves, and you need to be attuned to that and be able to react to things very quickly. Like here, I'm going to scout, I want to find these DDs, but I'm going to see the enemy carrier sending his planes towards my guys. So instead of pushing to go scout, I'm going to turn back and go put fighters over them. see it right here. I'm pushing up. I'm looking for spots on these DDs. There's one.
Concentrate fire on the designated target.
Now see where the enemy CV is? Down in that bottom corner. So yeah, I've spotted the DDs, but we need to go protect my guys. I have, you know, vastly superior fighters. American fighters are amazing. I love them.
All stations, concentrate fire on the target.
So now one thing when you're dropping your fighters, you want to make sure you're out of AA, and if there's a ship moving towards, like if there's a ship pushing in, you don't want to drop them just outside of his AA because he's going to move and come under them, and then they're just going to get shot down. So you really want to be cognizant of where you're dropping your fighters and when you're dropping your fighters. You know, if there's an enemy CV way in the back corner of the map and his squadron, you know, he's out of bombs or he gets shot down, it's going to be a minute before he comes back, so you don't want to just immediately drop fighters. You know, they have a limited duration. So you want to kind of maximize the effect of those fighters. Now our fighters are down. As you can see, I'm pushing hard up that left flank. As I was reading the map, I could see a lot of the enemy team was either in the back of the map or moving down our right flank, which leaves the left flank open for me, and that does two things. So now I'm not sitting at the back of the map, I'm actually providing my guys with AA cover because carriers have long AA range.
Autopilot mode enabled.
So I'm actually giving them AA cover with my ship. I'm able to respond faster to get fighters down over them. I'm able to respond quicker to get spots. And a lot of people want to take their carriers and go to the back of the map. Again, 90% win rate. I almost never go to the back of the map, ever. The most I do is kite the line I start on, back and forth. I don't go to the bottom of the map. I either kite that line, or I start pushing a flank, or wherever there's an opening, a hole. I'm gonna start moving up. I'm gonna try to stay with my people. You can see my team went very heavy to the side that I'm flanking on because they know there's AA, there's fighters, there's things to protect them from the other carrier. So right here we get these two DDs spotted up. They're the only two DDs on the team. That was kind of a mistake for them to both be in the same place. And this does not end well for them. And then once these two guys are on the board, this is our game. It's our game to lose. And there was definitely some points. I was wondering how this was going to go. The score is close. Ships are pretty close. Enemy has all the caps. So at first I was like, oh, this might not be good. But again, just like that first game where my team they saw what I was doing and they capitalized on it. And here they're gonna see I'm protecting them. I'm putting fighters over the people that are being attacked. I'm going after the people that are spotting them, pushing them. I'm protecting my guys, and they get that sense. They understand, okay, this carrier's actually looking out for us. Let's go do some things. And I see that in a lot of games. I think, you know, for me personally, when I come into a match and I see, you know, the way people are driving their ships and doing certain things, I can kind of tell their skill level. And I think there's a lot of people that can read that, and especially with CVs. And right off the bat, you know, they can tell the difference between somebody that doesn't know how to play a CV and somebody that does.
Concentrate fire on the enemy warship.
Here we go. Right back after the DD. Let's get him off board. So I lagged a little bit on that drop, and it caused me to just very, very badly overshoot. And also because I was coming in at an angle, it was hard to line it back up after the lag spike. And I remember being very frustrated when that happened during this game, because that summer should have been so dead. My carriers, I specialize the HE bombers, because they are the most effective tool for getting DDs off the board. And that being my priority, I'm willing to take the natural stats on the torps. So I may not have the biggest damage game, but I'm very effective at what I do. So we got all the DDs down. Now I'm trying to assess the situation, what's going on, who do I need to target, who do I need to protect, kind of taking a good snapshot of what's going on here.
Autopilot mode enabled.
So again, these guys are pushing around. Since I've made it up this whole flank, I'm actually going to start turning in fairly soon and start looking for that carrier on the back line. I know he's back there somewhere. For some reason, 90% of the carriers seem to think the back of the map is the place to be, and it's not. It is not. You're offering your team no AA support. You know, he's in a Kaga, which doesn't have the best AA to begin with, so I can understand the go and hide when you're running an IJN carrier. But if you're in like an American carrier, there is no reason to be at the back of the map. Zero reason. And yes, you do need to be careful coming up. You need to make sure you're not spotted, because if you're spotted, you're going to have stuff touching you from halfway across the map. But you still don't want to be at the back of the map. You want to be someplace where you're at least somewhat effective, you can respond quickly. Even in the Kaga, I wouldn't play a Kaga at the back of the map. Even though I don't have much for AA, I want to be able to respond to things quickly. And the more distance you create for yourself on that map, the longer it's going to take you to respond to anything that unfolds. So that's like being in a BB and just being out of position for any shots. You're not effective at that point. And that's what people are doing when they go to that back line, is just nerfing their carrier. They're no longer effective. By the time they get their planes over a situation, like, you know, somebody spots a DD for a split second, by the time you fly 3/4 of the way across the map, that DD, he's not there anymore. And now you're gonna have to go find him. So yeah, just not anything I recommend playing the back of the map. Like I said, the line you start on, kiting back and forth between, you know, if there was 3 caps, Alpha and Charlie cap, on that line is the most I will do. I'm not going further back than that, unless the only exception to that is if I'm like heading towards Charlie flank and there's a nasty push coming through Charlie flank. Then I'm gonna go to the back because I don't want to get spotted. I don't want to have my carrier taken out of the game. So then I'm gonna push the back of the map, but what I'm gonna do is run down the back of that map to the other side and start coming up the other flank. Unless both flanks are collapsed, and in that case it's probably gonna be an L. But yeah, it's... playing the back of the map in a carrier is so bad. So bad. Just don't do it. Like, be useful to your team, be able to respond to situations. You have vicious AA if you're an American carrier. Like, why would you be at the back of the map? And even my IJN fighter, or my IJN CBs, that, you know, have just horrible AA, they have very good fighters. So I'm able to protect myself. Like, if I really, really need to, I can drop my fighters over myself. And then you're getting fighters that'll launch from the carriers, and then fighter squadrons that I'm dropping from my squadrons. So you have multiple sets of fighters over the top of yourself, and if somebody's gonna fly into that, they're probably gonna lose their planes. So even though you don't have good AA, there's still ways to protect yourself, and sitting at the back of, like, you're out of play. And it's literally like a BB just going to the back of the map and spending, you know, the whole battle back there until they're the last, you know, 1 or 2 ships left, and then deciding they want to come up and fight. It's very pointless, and a lot of CB players seem to want to do that, and I understand that. You don't want to get, you know, dev struck right off the bat, but you kind of got to play smart. And, you know, using islands, for example, if you park your CB behind an island where nobody has a crossfire, you can actually be right on top of your ships, giving them AA, giving them protection, but nobody has a shot on you. Islands are extremely useful in a CB.
Ship destroyed.
moving your carrier to where they can't find you. But that's kind of what happened to this Kaga player. I took off up that flank, and there was one point, if you rewind it, you'll see he's going back there and he's searching for me. And I'm not anywhere behind where I started. Like right here, see him going down the map, he's looking for that BB. But he's also going back there looking for me, trying to figure out where's this other carrier. And I'm not there, I'm literally almost straight on top of him at this point. And so he can search that whole half of the map and he's never gonna find me. Wasting his time, it doesn't matter. I'm not back there. And that's the element of surprise. Being able to pop up somewhere they're not expecting you. I guarantee you when, you know, he finally figures out where I'm at, he wasn't expecting me to be right there, up in his grill. Here it is. Here's where he's gonna figure out.
Requesting fire on the designated
So there's
target.
planes coming right in at, he knows, okay, it came from that direction. And this isn't gonna last very long. I think we're gonna point them out long before I can get a kill on him, so I'm not even gonna bother holding spot. Just gonna come in, start immediately taking damage on him. And like, look how close I am to him. And he had no idea that whole time. Like, he literally thought I was down at the bottom of the map where we spawned up. No, I'm not one of those. I'm not gonna sit there. Again, I will kite that back line that I start on, which is usually, I believe, like 2-3 squares up from the bottom. I'll kite that line. But I'm not gonna run all the way to the bottom of the map. Like, there's no reason for it. And especially, again, I prefer the American ships. I know I have good AA. I know I have good fighters. Like, if you want to go to an air war with me, good luck. Anyway, that's what I have for you. Hopefully